No, she could be Oliver.
Whoa, the O-Man.
Oh-Man.
Yeah.
Oh, that took me forever to get. The O-Man.
The O-Man. Oh,
I'm so mad at myself. I went, oh, man. Oh, gosh. All right.
The one thing that does feel dated about the movie is the whole WTF running gag.
Yeah.
No, it's so good.
It doesn't work anymore. Watching it
does work.
Yeah.
Eddie Marsan coming out of the stall after Gary asks what he says, what does WTF mean? And then Eddie Marsan pushes open the stall and says, I think that works. That still makes me laugh.
I guess that's the one bitty thing in this, feels like a bit in this movie. But I got to tell you, when Eddie Marsan came out yelling that, I lost it the first time. I mean,
the first time I did, yeah.
That was a gut laugh. Or what a guffaw. Yeah, that was good.
It just feels too, like, WTF is too widely known now, I feel like. Like, it is, everyone just, I don't know.
That's fair.
PSCU. Just yelling that out.
PSCU.
And they never explain it. Because I'm in the theater going, they made this for me. They listen to this.
Sounds like the dream.
Oh, man. So anything else you want to get out of here? Like, and as you're listening, we know that you know that you know that we know that there's just so much about this movie. And I think we did a good job just not going, and then like when they walk in a row, the people on the outside are the ones who go. Then you have the three in the middle, and the guys on the outside are wearing blue already, like the blanks. And he chose blue because of pen ink, and you can get away with more of that. It's like there's so many little tidbits in here, but just go listen to the commentaries. Like, go background it when you're doing something else. Check them out. You don't need three people just going and then just talking about Dude, Where's My Car? Because I think Sean William Scott's underrated. Watch Goon, actually. That's a very good movie.
Goon's real. I like Goon a lot.
Justin, you'd love Goon.
Yeah, all right. I'll watch it, finally. Now that you've recommended
Didn't they make a Goon 2? I believe
they did.
Yeah. I did not see it, but
I bought it. I'll never say a bad thing about it. It just feels like they were just trying to make the heart wasn't there.
Yeah.
It's hard to recreate.
Isn't it? It's Lee Schreiber is also in Goon, right?
And Goon 2.
Oh, he's in the second one too?
Yeah. So the random story, I was an extra on American Reunion way back in the day. And I was pouring wine guy and I was party guy. So if you watch the movie, you can see me walking around the back of this party pouring wine and stuff. But I was in a scene and we were waiting there, and Sean William Scott comes stand next to me, and we just start chatting. And then we got on the subject of Bronson by Nicholas Winding Refn. Then we chatted about Bronson for like 15 minutes while we're just waiting on set. And it was cool. I'm like, man, I'm talking with, I didn't bring up anything. I was like, we were just chatting about Nicholas Winding Refn. I didn't want to like freak out. I was like, Goon, oh man. So, he's a fan of Bronson. I just want everyone to know.
You didn't bring up that was probably a cash grab movie for him or anything like that? That didn't come up?
What? American Reunion?
Yeah.
Why not? Make that money.
Get that money, homie.
Sure.
American Pie 2 and 3 made incredible bank. Why not? Come back, make a paycheck.
Yeah, we talked about those a few months ago, just because in our first segment we talked about something we watched recently, and I watched 1 and 2 for the first time since by high school, and they're not funny. They're just, they don't hold up at all.
Oh, that webcam scene definitely holds up in today's culture. I mean, it's wonderful. It never held up in any culture. But if you watch American Reunion 4, there's a party guy in there, and that's some of my finest extra work.
Best acting ever.
Someone couldn't pour wine. So then they went, hey, Mark, come over here. And they're like, pour wine. You know how to pour wine? I'm like, yeah, I know how to pour wine. So I got more featured because I was one of the people on the set who could pour wine.
It doesn't seem like a big ask.
No, not at all. So, Pete, you were talking earlier about favorite trilogies. And so I was thinking about another trilogy that there's a similarity to. So let me get to it. So the Before trilogy, right, which is an all-time great trilogy. One of the hardest things about Before Midnight, which is such a beautiful movie, but what's difficult about it is watching them fight. Right? Jesse and Celine are fighting, and it just seems kind of weird, just like you're watching these people you love fighting. That's kind of what happens in The World's End, where you actually have Simon Pegg and Nick Frost fighting, where they never, like, they're always kind of like, together. And it's just this weird parallel between these two all-time great trilogies. And as I was thinking about that and like going, man, like, this just beautiful work on both sides, Linklater and Wright and the actors and everything. I don't know. Just wanted to point that out, that those are just two all-timers.
Yeah, that is a connection I had not made, but yeah, I mean, I think it's there. I think you're right. I don't know. What I'll say is I like the quote-unquote like air quotes in Before Midnight, because it like the first two movies are so like such like a almost like a fantasy, almost like an unreality, right? And then the third one just kind of brings it all back to reality in that way, and I think that's a really good contrast to the other two movies. But like again, like World's End does something similar here, where it brings a little more like heft and sadness, and you know, a little more to the end of this trilogy that isn't in the other two. Well, I don't want to say isn't in the other two movies, isn't as prevalent.
Yeah.
I watched the Before trilogy and the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and I counted all the steps that Celine and Jesse took, and I compared it to all the steps that Sam and Frodo took. And on average, Celine and Jesse do more walking. They spend a larger percentage of their screen time walking than Sam and Frodo do.
I absolutely believe that.
Yeah. And I counted just Sam and Frodo's screen time and how much they walk, not like the entire film. And I did that.
I don't have any response to that. I don't know how that's humanly possible.
It was beautiful. It was cool. It was fun. I just sat there with my phone watching them walk, and then I paused it.
Okay, Mark. So then,
of my life.
So there's 3 trilogies right there. I want you to pick your favorite of the 3 trilogies: the Cornetto trilogy, the Before trilogy, and the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Woof. I got to say the Lord of the Rings, because I think the scale that Peter Jackson was able to pull off back to back to back with, you didn't have unlimited resources like Marvel does nowadays. I think New Zealand came together. I think he's made something infinitely rewatchable. I think the battles are epic. I mean, just the moments, and as much as I love, that's a crazy question.
That's right.
I watched Before Sunset, and I just immediately went and bought the poster, put up on my wall. And then when Megan and I were dating in the beginning, she made me like the speech that Jesse makes to Celine on the train. She did that like on a typography thing for me. So I'm obsessed with that. And I got this poster back here, and Hot Fuzz is one of my, I'm about to short circuit, but I'm going to say Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
I'm going to say Lord of the Rings, because I could do a rewatch of it right now and be happy with it. I think it's just wonderful, wonderful, epic scope filmmaking. And not that the others aren't, but on that level, which he had, it's a home run. So what about y'all?
Well, if you take the flip question of that, which is like, if you had to get rid of one, which one would you get rid of? For me, it would be Lord of the Rings, of the 3.
Oh.
So
I got like a weird feeling in the back of my neck. I feel
mostly because here's why. Because I feel like when you see them once, you're good, because they are so, you know, they span so much, they are so epic, and I've tried to rewatch and just can't get through all 3 of them. It's just so much time, and it's like I feel like I've seen them. Whereas the other ones I want to dive into much deeper, and they're more fun. And I don't know. I know. I'm sorry. That's the one I would drop. I don't know which one I would pick between the other 2, though. I don't know if I can.
So I have those connections with the Before movies, and then I was working in a movie theater when Lord of the Rings came out, and I was like, I would close up projection, so I'd watch the last hour of Fellowship and Two Towers. I would watch I just have so many great memories of those. So I would erase the Cornetto trilogy, even though I love it. Personal memories, I think, keep it out of there. But that's like, which one do you want to like? Which creature do you want to be extinct? Like the great humpback whale, blue whale, or sperm whale? Like that's why
I asked you.
I feel good though. I could stick with that decision. And if Edgar Wright saw me, I'd be like, hey man, you get it. PSCU.
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 Any final thoughts before we get out of here? Oh, you actually plug the podcast, y'all, and I'll make sure to add it on all the posts I add and everything. But plug it.
So it's the Rambling Ramblers Movie Podcast. You can find us everywhere you get podcasts. We also have a website, ramblingramblers.com, where we can, you know, we have our Remake This casts where we show like the actual visuals of it, and we also post our parting shots, which is our final category, really cool monologues that we write at the end that we put a lot of thought and time into. So you can find all that online. And yeah, look for some new episodes. We got Vertigo and Night of the Hunter coming up soon. So look for that.
Good pictures. A lot of green and black and white.
A lot of green.
Yeah, a lot of green and Vertigo.
And then actually, I'll start sharing your remake list, those pictures, because those are fun.
Yeah. I think it's just such a fun thing to do. And then putting the visual together is just, you know, to see those characters or see those actors as those characters. It's just The thing is, we don't condone remaking any of these movies, but we just understand that it's something that's probably going to happen at some point. So it's a lot of fun.
All right, I want to see the Encino Man list next time. Please do that.
Remake this.
All right, well, thank y'all for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, so from me, Mark Hoffmeyer, for Pete Conway and Justin Gott, this is Movies, Films, and Flicks. We'll see you next week.